Hey friends, welcome back and hello to you new people too. I'm Courtney. This is Nick, so I've got Phaedra behind me. Today I wanted to talk with you a little bit about controversial brands and my truth because there have been a million and one of these videos and I'm sure you're not sick of it at all. Just kidding. So I guess what I wanted to say, I have a lot of thoughts on this topic. So you have a little bit of a background on me. I have been blogging since May of 2008 and I went cruelty free in I want to say May of 2012, something like that. So I've been blogging for over 10 and a half years. And in that time, I've seen a lot of drama with brands. The first brand I really want to talk about, I guess, is Lime Crime, because for years and years and years, I said, you know, there's no way I would buy a Lime Crime product. I remember being at dinner with Voltaire, I think at Dragon Con one year, and he was like, you should try these Lime Crime products from my friend. My friend, you know, Xenia makes them, and I'm like, nope, she's a horrible person. And he's like, oh, you know, you don't really know her. She's not really a terrible person. And I was just like, very adamant about, nope, not going to do it. So for years, I was just like, no, not going to happen. I was watching Lime Crime do all kinds of terrible things. There was the China doll palette, which was cultural appropriation, and not really understanding why that might be offensive to people who are Asian. There was the security breach. There was Lime Crime threatening to sue bloggers, Lime Crime harassing Talia, Lime Crime stealing bloggers' images. There's been a million and one things. The owner of Lime Crime, Xenia, dressing up as Hitler, which was incredibly just distasteful and disgusting. Although I think she later claimed that she went to a party and thought it was supposed to be, she was supposed to dress up like a monster and she thought Hitler was a monster or something weird like that. So, I don't know, maybe it's a cultural thing. There was a duct tape dress thing with Lily and Funny Face too. So anyway, there's been all kinds of crazy things, horrible things that she's done as a person. And that really turned me off of the brand. But I watched them over the years because I kept seeing them release things and I was like, you know, it looks like something I would really like. And so that's why I kind of always kept my eye on them, but didn't buy from them. And when Doe stepped away from the company this year, it made me feel comfortable enough to buy from them from Ulta. I also tried buying from them from their website and had a really horrible experience with that. I was going to say that I wouldn't do that again, but I did actually recently place another order through their site in hopes that it would be better, but probably not. So yeah, I never really expected to change my mind about Lime Crime for years and years, and I said I wouldn't for years and years, but I did, basically because I felt like it got to a point where, for me, there was just no reason for me, I felt like the company had cleaned up their image enough and they hadn't done anything bad enough for a while. I'm like, I'm just going to try it. Other companies, let's look at Jeffree Star. So when I bought Jeffree Star, I knew nothing about him. I didn't know anything about his behavior. I didn't know about his racist behavior. I didn't know that he was an asshole. I didn't know anything about him because I've never met him. I was just like, oh, hey, I really like the looks of this palette. There's an eyeshadow named Courtney. I'm going to buy it. And I really like the palette. Later, I learned about Jeffree and his past, and I was like, oh, I really am not cool with any of this. So I stopped buying from him. But my husband bought me the second palette that he released, and I really liked it, but then I never used it because I felt guilty because, you know, Jeffree Star is not a great person. So then he came out with his apology video last July or something, and it was very patriotic. He wore red, white, and blue, and I felt like he was really trying to just look like, I don't want to say your next door American boy because that's clearly not his image, but I felt like he was really trying to be very patriotic and appealing in his apology video, and I was like, okay, so I'm going to watch him and see what he does. And it seems like from when I started watching his behavior to see if he would change, that he hasn't really changed, and he's made more racist comments against women of color again. So I'm just like, I'm not going to buy from him. However, I have friends who buy from him for different reasons. I have some of my friends who are interested in makeup, don't know anything about the drama, don't know anything about the brands. They only care about the product and whether or not it will work for them. So that's how they will buy. One of my friends buys Jeffree Star because it's the only brand she's been able to find for eyeshadow that doesn't have an ingredient that she's allergic to. I think she's allergic to glycols, and there are glycols in most products or something. So she's like, this is one of the few brands she can wear. So she hates Jeffree Star, knows all about him, and still buys his eyeshadow. Because she's like, I'm not going to, buy something that's going to cause my eyelids to break out or not go without makeup. And I'm like, okay, I totally understand and respect that. The entire time, you know, for 10 years or whatever that I detested Lime Crime and would not feature them or anything like that, I had friends who were like, yeah, I'm gonna buy them. It's perfectly fine. I'm like, okay, you do you. I guess part of what bothers me with the whole cancel culture thing and controversial brands is that the vast majority of people are, like the vast majority of people who buy makeup is probably like this, and the people who follow drama is probably like this. So it's just most people don't know about it, so they don't care. So I'm really bothered by the whole cancel culture thing where people like are starting to harass other people who buy from these brands. Like when I see people sit there and say, oh, you're a shit person and a racist because you buy from Jeffree Star, that's not right. That is not appropriate. You don't understand that person's motivations. Maybe they know nothing about the brand. Maybe they have a health issue, whatever, but it's not your place or your money. So I kind of feel like you shouldn't be harassing them. It's perfectly fine to say, hey, do you know anything about like the brand owner? The brand owner is terrible. Here, you can read, you know, Google this or read this article and you can, you know, at least inform them. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But it's the whole, you know, oh, you're a terrible person just because you do this. I don't think that's right. And that's a lot of what I've seen going on. And I completely understand where some of the other bloggers are coming from, where they're like, I just want to review makeup. I just want to cover makeup. I don't want to deal with the drama because it gets tiring trying to keep track of everything. You know, they're like, oh, well, you know, you shouldn't be buying from a shit brand. You can find whatever you need from another brand. But as an example, if I wanted to use the brand Fenty, I couldn't find a foundation match in Fenty. They don't make one for me, so I couldn't switch to them even though they're a non-problematic brand. And it's very hard for me to find foundation matches, so it's not like, you know, I can just use one brand. As an example, my favorite brand is Urban Decay, but I couldn't use just Urban Decay products because Urban Decay doesn't make a foundation that matches my skin tone. So I can't just use them. So yeah, I really do understand where other bloggers are coming from when they're like, you know, don't harass me because, you know, I'm buying this product or I'm featuring this product, because some people want to see it and the majority of people don't know anything about the drama. I do get that. And I also get where the other people are coming from, where they want to educate people. I think that's perfectly fine too. Where the line gets crossed is when you go from educating to harassing. So for you to come and tell me, oh, hey, you know, you shouldn't be buying Huda Beauty because they ripped off this other brand called Beauty Bakery, which I'd forgotten that happened, I'll be honest with you, because I can't keep all of the drama straight unless it's something that I really, really, really care about. Like, I've been paying very close attention to the Jeffree Star thing just because I basically was hoping that he was, you know, after he made his apology video, that he would actually have really changed and not be doing the same sort of racist behavior. That isn't the case. So yeah, anyway, that is my opinion, is that if you choose to buy from a controversial brand or talk about a controversial brand, oh yeah, I was saying how basically I have people tell me that, you know, I'm a terrible person because I bought Huda Beauty because I've forgotten about the drama with Beauty Bakery. And it's not that I don't care about that. I care about that because, you know, I like indie brands. I shop a lot from indie brands. I think it's terrible for a big company to rip off an indie brand. I absolutely do. That said, you know, it's just kind of like some similar packaging, whatever. So even if they did rip it off, which to me it looks like they did, it's something that kind of fell out of my head as it happened, you know, like last year or January or whatever. It happened a long time ago at this point to me, so it just didn't really seem like a big deal. To me, like an issue more like, you know, calling a woman of color like a derogatory name or being racist or whatever. Like, to me, that seems like a bigger deal than the packaging thing, but that's just my opinion. I guess at the end of the day, I feel like you should treat people the way you want to be treated. If, you know, somebody's buying from a controversial brand, be helpful, educate them, say, hey, you may not know, but this is something that the brand has done that is really shady. Or have you Googled them? Maybe you should check them out, something like that. But just leave it at that. Don't try to sit there and force your ideals on someone, because really, if you try and force your ideals on someone, it's not pretty. It's not, I don't know. I think it's rude. And I really do especially hate it when people are like, you're a terrible person because you bought from this brand. No. You don't understand why. So, all right. Anyway, I've babbled about this enough. Please be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like this video, please share it. Thanks so much for watching.